Going to assemble the sewing machine box. And I've got all of my pieces laid out, and I've put the panel pieces on with the exception of this one. And this one is gonna go in here like this, and I'll explain why that's shorter than this piece when we get to it. But I've got these laid out. This is the top part of the box, this is the bottom, and this piece here makes the center. And there's a couple of different embellishments. There's your foot that goes in and the blade comes through, and just some operating dials. So I'm gonna remove these panels but kind of keep them together with what they go with. I'm going to set those aside. And we're going to first just assemble these boxes. Okay, and we can start with the one that goes in the center. And if we're looking here at the sewing machine, we have a piece that makes up this section. We have a piece that's going to do this, and then this middle section is this section right in here. Okay, so I should have removed this before I started because it's okay. So the centerpiece. Great, let me see if I can get my glue going. Fantastic. I'm sorry, I should have checked it, I guess, before I started. I didn't think it was plugged. I've done really good keeping my, there we go. I hear it whistling now, so air's getting through. Okay. To put this together, I'm just going to lay it over to do this. And actually, on this piece here, so this is not square. This piece is a rectangular piece. You can see here these two sides are longer, these are shorter. These are the two sides when we're looking here at our box. These are the sides that are going to be glued because all of the pieces have just a slight border around them. So these two panels are going to go on the shorter pieces here, and I'm going to go ahead and put them on. Just because I think it'll be easier to put these on while it's flat. Okay, and then we're going to set this piece aside. And this piece here, again, makes up the bottom. So I'm going to just, and these pieces are long drawers. So we have the box piece, and then you have the insert that goes in. I think I'm going to start with one. Now this is a square, so It doesn't matter. What I'm doing is just dipping my corners in the glue so that I know I have glue all the way out to the corners. There we are. And then I'm going to glue the rest of them. Okay. If you want, you can get something long to reach inside. You're going to need something pretty long. Maybe a dowel, which I do have one here. A dowel to reach down inside, just to make sure those edges are adhered. And then so this, you'll notice that there's 2 holes here on this end, and so it makes it easy to know which panel goes there because it also has holes. Just make sure to get it the right way so that you have a border all the way around. It does matter, so just try the panel both ways. There we go. Putting that on now so that I can go ahead before I glue this and I can make my handle. So I am using Trendy Twine Lemon Tart. And for anybody who has watched my videos before, you know that Trendy Twine is my favorite twine. And I am going to try to get this to push through. And I'm just using the pointed end of my stylus there. And the holes are little. I didn't want them to be too big. So, you know, most likely if you're going to use twine or ribbon like I am here, you're going to have to use something to poke it through. And then I'm going to put this here so that I can tie it. I'm just going to tie it in a loose knot on the inside. I'm tying it loose so I can get my stylus out. And then that gives me a little handle to pull the drawer open. And I'm going to cut the excess off. Okay. So now I've got a little pull for my drawer. And you just close up the sides here, bring up the 2 sides. We don't have to worry about a panel for this side because that will be the inside of the box. like so. And that's going to slide right in. Okay, so there's the second part done. And that was very quick and easy. Now for this, I'm going to do the insert one first. And I'm just poking this through again to make these holes just a smidgen bigger because they are pretty small. And that's in case you wanted to use brads there for your pool. So your hole's not too big and you can use the small headed brads. And again, I checked it first to make sure I was going to put it on the right way. Then I'm just going to use my stylus again to poke this through. I think this excess piece should be long enough, I hope. There we are. And again, I'm going to put my stylus here so that I don't accidentally make this too small. My handle. Don't want to make my handle too small. I'm going to trim it. I would imagine you can use any number of things to make your little handle there. But I have lots of this twine, so I have a color that matches just about anything you can imagine. And now the other side. The reason I did this one first is because the top of the box is just a little more complicated than the bottom. But I don't think it's difficult. Actually, it'll be the first time that I'm putting it together also, but it shouldn't be difficult. Let's say that. Okay. So there's the insert for the top. And you will notice that the top is a little bit shorter than the bottom. Okay. So that's how you know which one you've got. I think the first thing I'm going to do is this is the front end. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to put this piece on first. Now, you'll notice when you fold all your tabs that you have a little corner right there, and you have this piece. So you've got these three edges, 1, 2, 3. And so I'm going to start with this one. I'm just going to bring this right in here. We're going to glue this right into place, okay? So that's what I'm going to do first. Sorry, a gnat is flying in my face. And then I think I'm going to come out and I'm going to do this one next before I do this little tiny one there. That one I'm going to catch on the inside because these two sides right here are what I want to make sure are lined up properly. Then I can just flip this over and you don't even really need a dot of glue. It kind of holds itself in place, but I am just going to put one there. And before I close this side, now this is two pieces glued together. I've already glued it together. And I hope I'm putting this in the correct way. I can't remember which way that goes. Well, I don't sew, so I'm not sure if that screw piece points in or out. I'm going to point mine in. Out is what I feel like is probably the right way, just because I'm doing it and pointing in. And you just open this up and glue these little tabs down inside. And I'm doing this now so that I don't have to try to fight the box to get that in there. Okay? So, do that. And then I'm going to come in here, pull that back out of my way, fold this over good. And I think I'm just going to go ahead and glue all my edges at one time on this side because everything's all in place, falling into place really well. You might need your dowel again to reach inside and glue some of these tabs down, push them down. There we go. And then we're going to close it up. Okay, so just there we go. Uh-oh. And now my glue decides to plug. Oh, great. Need to wet that again anyway. It seems like it's drying already. There we go. Okay. Sorry. Seems like I hit you in the face. Okay. There we go. Now, that is in pretty good shape. Okay. So that is the top part of the box. Now, this piece is just going to glue. Right like this, okay? Just like this. So we're going to put in, I think, just so that it has a little more stability when I'm pushing on it, I'm going to put that insert in there. It doesn't really help that much. It is a little wobbly, but I have my dowel, so I'll be able to use it. And I think here again I'm going to start with just this one tab to get it secure and in place. Then you can lift it up. You can push these together here. And I'm just pushing from the inside. There we go. Let's get this stuck down well. Okay, now I'm going to add glue to these other tabs. This is really the hardest part, getting this on. And it's not really hard, it's just a little awkward. So you just need to take your time, work with it. It does help to have that one piece done first. Now this is going to be covered by your panel, so you know it's not going to be seamless. Can't be seamless, it's two pieces coming together. But it will be covered by our panel. But you just want to squeeze that together as tight as you can. Make sure it's got a good seal. And now we're going to do the bottom. And you want to make sure that you put your open end on the back side, okay? And I think when I do this side, I'll kind of bring this one tab over and then you just have to hold this for a second. Make sure it adheres well. And so as you can see, the centerpiece does not have doesn't have a drawer. I wanted the center to be a little more solid. I felt like the whole back side of this would be very floppy if I made this a drawer as well. So I wanted to give the top and the bottom a good foundation for adhering to. And that is why there is no drawer there in the center. And now you can see why this one panel piece is shorter. It's because of this center box takes up part of that. Okay, so there is the basics. And you've got your drawers that slide in. And now we're just going to glue this into place. Okay. Oops. Slide my drawers out here for a minute so that I can use my dowel and rub that. We're going to glue that. Now the top piece. And then I'm going to put in this piece. Make sure that's the one I want. I think I'm going to do the opposite color on this inside piece. I'm going to do the flip side of this up. Okay, just like that. Now we've got our two ends. So we've got that, and we've got this one. So we're going to put those on. The boxes are just a smidgen. They're just a square on my mat smaller to make sure that they fit in there well. So in there you've got, you can pull out here with your pull tabs. Now I had already put these on once and I had to pull them off, so I'm just going to add glue to my foam dots here. And that's it. And you can put quite a bit of stuff in there. And it doesn't matter that it has this lip in it, because your box just slides right over it when it goes inside. And there it is. There is your sewing machine box. Thank you for joining me.